Yes, sharing rules. Till that we discussed, right, yesterday. So on the
Yeah.
record level sharing, like missing thing is roles and role hierarchies. So for that, I'm going to set up, I'm typing roles here. And here under users, I'm clicking on roles. See here, you can read understanding of rules. You can see if you consider any company, this will be like this. Top of the top level, you'll be having CEO, and under the CEO, we'll be having several teams, Western, Eastern, International, so on. Similarly, under the directors, there'll be sales representatives kind of things. So, like it is a standard picture they kept, but this tree might go like more and more depth. So let's suppose if you have, let's suppose if you have account object. So we set up an OWD as a private for that object, let us say. So at the time, what happens is, if the owner of the records is this Western sales representative, so that record won't be visible to Eastern sales rep and international sales rep. Whereas this Western sales rep record will be able to access to this Western sales director. Why means he's top of this on this role hierarchy. It means, so coming to the record level access, we can provide an access to the high level people on the same direction. Whereas for this Western sales representative record, Eastern sales director also won't have access. Understood this point?
Yes.
Yes. So coming to the low level people's record will be accessed by their high level people. So though object like object level security is private, OWD is private, then also the higher level people can able to access the records. That's why while providing an access in a sharing rules or anywhere, they will see roles and role subordinate can able to see or not, and for which role of people you want to do that. That thing you'll see. And you'll get another doubt like from where we can set up these roles and role hierarchies. While creating profile itself, we have to do that. So yeah, I'll go to setup roles. You can see it will open our company's portal. So far, we'll be having company name I kept like BMS. On that, I did not added any employees. So if you want to add any employees here, so coming to the CEO, like let's suppose if you want to any other roles. If you want to add roles, you can click on add roles and you can create any new role here. Okay. So like this, by clicking on add role, you can add how many roles you want. Okay. Whereas, so coming to the CEO, I'm clicking on CEO, I'm expanding it. You can see CEO, edit, delete, assign. So let's suppose for this role, if you want to add a user, you can perform assign. So whenever you click on assign, it will give you all the users. So now I am making myself as a CEO. See. So now if you go to role hierarchy, here you'll like my user is there as a CEO. Similarly, for whatever the roles, whoever the user you want to add, you can click on by clicking on assign symbol. Clear? Same thing, like roles and role hierarchies are the portion you can set up your organization structure. Like under high end people who are the users are there. Like that, we are doing this. Let's suppose coming to our company, in place of CEO, CFO, we might have director. You can modify it like that. Based on your company structure, you can modify this complete structure. Okay. So whereas coming to the profile level, if you want to set up a roles and role hierarchy to the users, what you can do is you can go to profiles. In the profiles, sorry, not profiles, you can go to users. So let's suppose if you want to add some user to that specific role, what you can do is you can go to user, from there you can set up. So let's suppose I'm opening my user. So you can see role. There I assigned role, right? Like CEO, that's why it is coming up. Similarly, for any profile, while creating it, if you want to add it, so there you can see a role field. For that role field, you can add a value so that people will comes to that specific role. This is about roles and role hierarchies. Then next we'll be having concept called public groups. So while creating sharing rules, we are getting two options: roles, role subordinate, or public groups. So public groups are nothing but, so let's suppose irrespective of the profiles, if you want to profile additional access to the records to the some set of users, if you want to provide record level access to some set of users, at the time you can create a public group. So whenever you want to create a public group, you can go to setup and search public groups. In a users portion, under user portion, you can find it. So public group is nothing but set of group of users irrespective of their profiles. We can add any number of users in this. So now I'm clicking on new. So by clicking on new, you can add here in a public groups, you can add public groups as well. So some roles you can add it, like if you add role, all the people belongs to that role will be come up to this public group. Similarly, rules and role subordinates means if you want to add some complete subtree, let's suppose like a Western director or like a Western salespeople, like that. If you want to add complete subtree, you can go with this option. User in this public group, let's suppose if you want to add individually users, you can add it. Okay, let's suppose this public group. In this, I have to add one user. Let's suppose test security. And add delegated admin groups. No, I don't want to add it. So the purpose of delegated admin groups is nothing but, let's suppose if your user is not available in this public group, if this user is inactive, on such cases, someone needs to be able to access those records. For that, we can set up a delegated admin and we can do that. As of now, I'm not doing that. Now I created one public group with the name test public group. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to sharing rules. So sharing settings. Let's suppose if you want to create a sharing setting on any object. Let's suppose I am creating an account sharing rule. While creating account sharing rule, you can see to whom you want to share the records. So account owned by member of public groups, roles and role subordinates. So the account owned by member of public group. Let's suppose I'll add my name in a public group so that all the accounts owned by these public groups, I want to assign to another public groups or another set of users. So test public group. Let's suppose coming to the roles I can say, let's suppose I'll select CEO. So whatever the records having access to the CEO role, I have to provide, means owned by me means whatever the records created by me or whatever the records owned by me. So all those records I have to give access to test public group user. I'm saving it. Okay. Array, yaar, I did not give any name for this public groups. So account access. Now save. So you can see default account and contract access. So by default, they can able to read only. For opportunity records, there will be private only. Cases also in private only. So now, while creating OWD for this, what's an error? Let's enter a value. Roles CEO, no? Perfect. Public group also we select, right? It's also disappeared. No, perfect. Test public. Okay, done. Perfect. So now I'm saving it. So if you go to OWD of account and contract, you can see it is private. It means whoever won the record, they can only able to see the records. Now what I'll do is I'll go to accounts. I'll go to my first app. And let's suppose if you go to accounts, new account. Check record availability. Some name I'm giving. So okay. So I'm saving this record. This record is created. You can able to view this record. So as like previously we had this organization setup, account objects setting is private. It means whoever owned the record, they can only be able to view the record. So with this permission set, what I did is, sorry, with the public group, what I did is I provided additional access to the test security user. So now what I can do is I have to log in like the test security user and I'll see. Users. If you log in like that user, though the record owned by CEO role people, all those records can be able to seen by that person. What is that? sfadmintraining.com security test. It is only the user, right? Yes. I'll open it in a incognito tab. So now if you go to accounts records, so I'll go to all records. So now you can see here itself, I can able to see owned by Yakub also. Okay. So, but if we have OWD as private means, we should not be able to access others records, right? So because of adding the user in a public group, we are providing access via sharing settings. You can see all the records owned by Yakub also here. Why means we have provided access from a sharing rules. Clear this one? From where we provided access?
We provide only read only, right? No editing can be done.
Yes, we'll see that. Yeah, where we are incognito tab, we have to open now. Yes. So let's suppose I have to open the record which was owned by me. I'm going to details. Okay, edit this record. So you can say, oops, you don't have necessary privileges to edit this record. See your admin for help. So why it is coming means we provided only private access. It means account access. And you can see here one more thing coming to the related records. For accounts and contacts only, we provided read-only access. For opportunity and cases, also it is same thing, I think. Okay. I think like see here, if you keep OWD for opportunities and cases in a private, those records won't be come up. Mostly these opportunities we did not set up, that's why it is coming. Okay. So now it is about sharing rules. With the sharing rules, we can provide an additional access to users. With the public groups, what we did, we provided access to the records to the specific set of users, though they won't have access to the records. That's about public groups. Similarly, along with the public groups, we'll be having queues. So queues is another concept. The purpose of queues is coming to the public groups, we share the records. With that, what they are doing, just they can able to access the records, they can able to view the records, but they are not the owners of the records. Whereas with the queues, what we can do is we can provide ownership to the specific set of users. Understood? So queues are nothing but these are also group of users, and the purpose of queues is whatever the user having an access, all that access we are providing to the some group. So to make you understand this, I'll create one group. Now test queue name. So queue email, it's a feature. Let's suppose if some record is created or some error happens, if you want to send a mail to this queue owner, you can add that mail ID here, but it is not our mandatory one. The next, while creating a queue, you can see available object. Then for which objects you want to provide a ownership, you can choose that. Okay, let's suppose I'll go with a case object. How many objects you want to add? You can add all those objects here. Lead object. These two are more than enough as of now for me. And here you can see coming to these queues, whom you can add in this queue as a members. You can add users, you can add public groups, you can add roles, you can add role subordinates as well. It means queue contains public groups, queues, users, so on. So let's suppose I want to add a user in this test security and me. Like this, you can create a queues. So where we can use this queues then? Where we can use this to provide an additional level access to the users. Let's suppose our accounts OWD is private. Okay, with the public groups we provide additional accessories. Let's suppose consider case object. Now I am opening this case. In this you can see owner. Here it is. So created by last modified by, you'll be having owner field, right? So let's suppose I want to change owner. So assign to option we're not finding in a case. Okay. These are the auto-defined fields created by we won't change. Assign to we're not having. Let's suppose, yeah, we'll take leads then. So in other apps, if you want to find the tabs, you can go to App Launcher and directly you can search for the tab. If the tab is not available in the app also, we can access different objects in it. So now I'm opening this record. To details. In the details, you can see lead owner. What I want to do is I want to change the owner. So here you can see users are queues. So I have to assign it to queue. Which queue we created? test queue. So if we change user from queue, what happens is whoever the user have access to this queue, or whoever the users present in this queue, they all can able to access this record. Not only they can able to access, they can able to modify any field from this object, though this object's OWD is private. So now what I'll do is I'll go to this, sorry. So I'll go to had another tab, right? That is incognito one. So here, what I'll do is I will navigate to leads tab and I'll see. So the record is owned by Q right now. So Q means this user should be able to have access to that record. So he is not having 0 records. So I have to create a new list view here. So you can see Bertha Boxer. So actually for this object, we did not set up a OWD as a private. So coming to the lead, we haven't set up a OWD as a private. We'll see. I'll go to setup now. Test queue. In this, who is the users? You see. Yeah, test security we added. Now what I have is OWD, right? Sharing settings. So you can see lead object. So you can see public read, write, and transfer means everyone will have access to all the leads. That's why Jakub's leads also can able to access to test security user. Now I'll make it to private. Okay. Now I'll save it. Okay. Saved OWD settings. Now record owners only will have access to the records. Give me a minute. Yes. So now what we did that object OWD as private. Okay. And now what I'll do is, and coming to the queues also, we provided access for cases and leads only, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yep. Now what I'll do is I'll go to this and I'll refresh the page now. You can see how many leads you can able to see here. So you can able to see the leads which are assigned to this queue only. So we are unable to see the records which are owned by other users. Understood?
Yes.
So with the queues, we can provide a owner level access to the users. With whoever the users you want to provide that level of access, you can do it with the queues. So now, if we added a users in a queue, they can able to modify the records as well. Let's suppose going to details, you can change any field values. Whereas coming to the public groups, they will be having setting again, like whether you can be able to have an access to set up those things or not. Understood about queues? This is about queues. So coming to the queues, if you want to provide some set of users or public groups as a owner level access, you can go to queues. And in the while creating queues, you can choose for which objects you want to provide an access. And under that, you can add some roles having people or role subordinates or public groups or users inside this queue. Okay. So with that, we completed public groups and queues concept as well. So it means with this security concept is completed. In this complete security concept, what are the concepts we discussed? We discussed it so far. Yesterday we saw permission set and sharing rules, and today we are done with the rules and role subordinates. See, these are very, very important things while you are working with some companies. Remember, okay, how to use public groups, how to use queues, and how to check with user security level. Everything will be very important. Public groups, queues. So whether the user is available in a queue or not, we have to check by going to queues. Whereas whether the user is present in some permission set or not, see, let's suppose if you want to check some users accessibility, what you can do is you can go to setup and you can go to user. System is a bit slow. I'm going to use this function. So here you can see, let's suppose if I open my user, you can see, and on the top you can see this user is present in how many permission sets. So if the user is present in permission set, you can check whether the user is present in some permission set or not. Let's suppose someone said, let's suppose I have a lead object. For the lead object, so for all the users I have an access, but some users I am missing an access. I want to know the issue. From the client side, you might get that story, that requirement. At that time, what you have to check? So profile level access, you should check first. Okay, profile level is common. And whether that user is added to specific permission sets or not, you can check that. Permission set assignments. If it is not there, you can add it. Similarly, you can check queue membership, whether this user is present in some queue or not. Like that, all the access levels, you can check public group memberships. Everything you can check from a user also. Clear? So for this also, I found a good article from Salesforce Ben. I'll share you this article in your WhatsApp group for queues and queue membership and how queues will work. Okay, so that it might be helpful to you for your interview preparation later. Okay. The next concept is data management tools. Data security is done. The next we'll see, we are left over with the three major concepts. First one is the data management tools. Second one is the data analytics and process automation. In this, process automation is a very good and very important chapter. We'll see tomorrow with which one I'll start. Based on my interest, I'll start any one of these chapters. Okay, so coming to the data management tools. The purpose of data management tools is, let's suppose now to create a lead, what we are doing, we are going to Salesforce and let's suppose if you want to create a new case, we are clicking on new case. After clicking new case, we are creating new case by entering the data. Let's suppose if you have a requirement like at a time I want to create 1,000 records. So is it possible by clicking on new button and creating 1,000 records? It will take a lot of time, right? So to create bulk amount of records in a Salesforce, we'll be having several tools in a Salesforce. So coming to the data management tools, the Salesforce standard tool, which was Salesforce innate tool, is data import wizard. And the second one is data loader. It is an external tool. You have to install this application in your system. And data loader.io. It's a third-party application which we can access with the browser. The next, Workbench, Salesforce Inspector. So coming to the Salesforce Inspector, it's a Chrome extension. And coming to the Workbench, browser based. And coming to the data import wizard, Salesforce innate tool, you'll find it from setup. Okay, data loader is an external tool. You have to install it. As an admin, like for an admin, these tools are more than enough. The Salesforce Inspector is not required. So coming to the Salesforce Inspector, I'll show you how it will looks like. I think I did not install it. Okay. Extensions. Yes. So I'll add. Chrome Web Store. Okay. Like this, you can install any extension. I'm going to Salesforce Inspector. This is the correct one. So add to Chrome. I'm adding it to Chrome. Add extension. So previously I have different extension. I explained you this lightning extension and this LWC, like for a development, will be having that. So yes, it is added. Perfect. Perfect. So like that, if you want to add any extensions, you can do like these. And similarly, not only the extensions, yes. So for you guys, assignment for today is you have to grab, yes. So extension, as you can easily install it. So for you, the major assignment is try to install it in your system, so that tomorrow I'll take someone's system's access and I'll explain you how to use this data loader. If no one installs, I won't explain this concept. Coming to the data import wizard, tomorrow I'll show you and I'll explain you how to import the bulk amount of records in a Salesforce system. Workbench also, it is a browser based one. Tomorrow I'll explain you how to use that Workbench even. Coming to the Salesforce extension, as I added, if you refresh the page, you can see this is added. You can see it is a Salesforce inspector. From here, whatever the things you want to, if you want to see the view fields of an object, view objects, view records directly, you can do that. Let's suppose I was in this page, right? If I refresh this inspector will come. Yes. You can see here. You can do, yes. With this, you can do data export, data import, arg limits, and you can see all the records. Okay, we can do this stuff. So tomorrow we'll see briefly about all these tools. So for you, the assignment is try to know the difference between data loader and data import wizard. Why means it's the most widely asked interview questions. Data import wizard was data loader. try to figure out the differences between both the things and explain me in tomorrow's session. It's a very, very important thing. And try to install this tool as well before tomorrow's session in your system, so that I'll explain you how to use that tool. Okay. With this, I'm concluding for today. Okay, I'll upload this session also immediately. So do you need this notes, whatever I wrote here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll keep it in WhatsApp group then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a great.
Thank you.